Welcome back, everybody, to Catching You. Your co-host, Lacie Ham. Beautiful daughter, Lacie. My other co-host, welcome.
I'm always here, man.
Say hi to everybody.
Hello. I'm always here.
We were talking off air about you're gonna graduate soon, and
5 months.
in 5 months, I think, yeah. I mean, people probably get sick of us talking about it. Like every episode, they talk about that you're gonna graduate soon.
It's a reality. If Let me just say this.
Okay, go ahead. Speak
I
your mind.
need to get it off my chest. If you're an adult listening to this and someone you know is graduating college, do not ask them what their plans are for after they graduate. Can we please just celebrate the fact that we're graduating first? I'm getting a degree. I'm gonna be a woman with a degree. But why is it more important to ask me what I'm doing after? Not everyone knows. Could be a touchy subject. So let's just celebrate the graduation first. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, because you don't know. What's the hurry, right? You're 21, you're gonna be
What's the
22.
hurry?
My age, right? It was go to college for 4 years, get a job, get married, have kids, blah blah blah, right?
Mhm.
Things are different, and we have to recognize that. You have sort of plans, but they're still kind of up in the air. We don't know what's going on yet. So, I mean, you're gonna come home, you're gonna mooch off your parents for a few months.
I'm gonna get a job.
Okay, that's true.
Don't worry, I've always done that.
That's true. That's true. You don't mooch
A
off,
job.
not much.
I'm not gonna mooch. Maybe food-wise, yes. I'll go in the fridge, in the pantry.
Then you'll then you'll use the dishes and leave them out.
That's not what I do.
Anyway, Lace, it is your senior year. 11 days actually until your first game. So yesterday was 12 days. It was your number yesterday.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. No social media was posted. Usually they post the players.
We did we did take a day pictures a little later this year,
Yeah.
so they could still be processing those.
It's 2025. That you could process those a little bit quicker than it's not like that you have to send them to send them to CVS and have them develop them for you.
No. I don't know, it's out of my control.
So how are you feeling about practice? So you've been practicing softball. You've had Saturdays practices since you were travel ball. Let's just talk about travel ball since you were 9 years old.
Yeah.
Really long Saturday, Sunday practices. And now you're going to be 21. You are 21 years old. Sorry. You've had a lot of practices in your lifetime. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
I would agree, and then on top of those weekend practices, you're going to your team's facility 2 to 3 times a week.
Right.
So that's about 5 to 6 out of 7 the 7 days of the week you're practicing, practicing, practicing.
How are you feeling about practices right now, currently as a senior in college?
Currently, I want to not practice. Well, here's the thing. My team or my new assistant coaches really prioritize live at-bats, live scrimmages for both pitchers and the hitters to benefit both sides, which I totally agree with. Like, even in travel ball, we'll end the practice the last hour, possibly with some live hitting. Now, this past week, we had 4 scrimmages. I threw 2 of them, all 7 innings. So, and my pitching coach made it very, very realistic, very game-like. Say, attack all the hitters. You could go all 7 innings if you really wanted to. Depends on how you do. You just have to attack. And that's put me in the mentality of it's game time. So, like, it really that and for me to pitch all 7 innings, it makes me really wanna play even more because 'cause I'm like, "Well, now I feel prepared. I feel good." And so, all I wanna do now is put on my uniform and play.
Yeah, because you said 12 innings and you gave up 1 run.
Yes.
which is good because like I said, off the camera, you've probably been pitching to some of these girls for 3 or 4 years,
Some of them, yeah.
and you're still doing well, which is good. And then in college, I haven't looked up your stats, but there has only been just a handful of times you gone 7 innings, right?
It's very rare in college softball, yeah.
Yeah, so that's good that you felt good with a full 7 innings because before it was like you get to four and it's like
Well, I could talk about the fear of getting taken out for days. It really comes from the team environment, how you're interacting with your teammates, but also how you're interacting with your pitching coach. So I'm going to use Coach Letty as an example, who's the head coach at Cal State Bakersfield now. When it came to my sophomore year, I mean, freshman year, I mean, I still have my first college win ball in my room on my birthday where I pitched all 7 innings against Sac State, and I don't even know, like, I came straight from travel ball, and that was my first collegiate game, and I'm still wondering, like, what was my mentality going into that? Like, was I just pitching to pitch? Like, I have no idea because, I mean, Sac State is a very competitive team, and I'm a little 18-year-old going in and doing whatever and holding it down 2-1. But my sophomore, I didn't pitch too much my freshman year. My sophomore year, I had more of an opportunity to go and pitch more innings. So when it came to my mentality, I had to go all out. And when my pitching coach is telling me just attack those batters, attack every single batter, it doesn't matter, just attack, attack, attack. That was that was my mentality. And then like when she's also telling me like these batters have nothing against you. Like you are better than them, all of them. So when she tells me that, I'm going to believe it because she's someone I trust and she's my coach. When someone is telling you, you could probably go 4. Try and go 4 innings. Okay, I'll try. Like when the mood isn't attack, 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 then the fear of like, oh, I hope I don't get taken out. That's what's in running through my head. Because I want to do, I mean, everyone wants to do well. Everyone wants to do well their performance when they go out, especially pitchers, perfectionists.
Yeah, because
So,
we always said that you were effectively wild, right? So like Letty knew that, right? You would walk a couple girls, but you get out of the innings. You've done that your whole career. You almost made a living out of it. Put yourself. I don't know what parent we thought I was talking about. But she, they're like, she pitches better when it's bases loaded.
I don't know why.
They're like, well, she's done it a few times, so maybe she feels comfortable in those situations.
Or I have a rocky first inning and then a crazy good rest of the game.
But for example, and we're not going to name names, but last year, just I think you're talking about that feeling, which is you walk a couple batters, and it's like all of a sudden you're now you're afraid to come out because well, it's like no, you don't know anything about me. Like I've done this many times in my career. I've gotten out of innings. Now, is someone going to hit a single and they score 1 run? Yes, but I usually come back and get after it. But you took me out too soon, like because you have
Yeah.
no idea who I am and how I perform.
The mentality wasn't I want Lacie to go all 7.
Right.
I want to push like I want Lacie to push through and attack all these batters. That wasn't the mentality.
Yeah. So you're in that mode, which is awesome, right? You even said before earlier that you feel real good about the team. The vibe is back. Um, Again, we talked about it in several episodes. No one left, and no one came in as far as transfer portal. You have I think 4 or 5 new freshmen. They're good teammates, so there's a good vibe. You have a new coaching staff, new pitching coach, so there's good vibes all around. You had a good fall uh, uh, season, so it's good. I mean, you're gonna have some bumps, right? You're gonna have some. There's gonna be some bumps in the roads coming up, because you're gonna be at Marionetta. You're gonna play Nebraska. They're top 15 in the nation. There's some other teams. I think you're playing Cal right later in the year.
Yeah, for like a midweek, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, your schedule's a lot easier. It's much easier than it was the last few years, I would say.
I mean, we're still playing pretty competitive teams. We're coming back from a season where it didn't feel right. Like we were playing scared and we were afraid to lose, which is the worst feeling. I mean, opening weekend, I talk about all the time. We went 0 and 5, no, 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4. And the first 4 games of our opening weekend, we got mercied by teams we have never lost to before, which is what's going on? That's never happened. So, like, I really think this year's like more of an attack mode, like I keep saying that. Like I truly believe that we're better than those teams and those hitters. So that's I feel like the difference this year.
Yeah, I can tell. I can hear it in your voice, right? Yeah, yeah, I saw those games last year, and it was, when you got down 4 runs, it was, heads were dropping and less cheering. It almost seemed like you guys were just like, can we just get this game
Yeah.
over with? Awesome stuff. Again, I always say that I'm looking forward to it because it is your senior year. You're going into it feeling good. Last year, you were not feeling going into it feeling good because you had to take the fall off, and then just like you said, the vibes just it was top down, right? It wasn't necessarily the head coach. It was some other things that were going on behind the scenes that just was not conducive to a positive atmosphere. And so let's transition to that. There's that trend going on, right? Um, you're so funny, and then that it's about. I need to get off TikTok because I told mom that I need to get off because just some of these stories are brutal.
Well, be careful if you delete it because it's not on the App Store.
Exactly. So you're probably so everyone knows that Lacie deleted TikTok after the ban, which might be good because now you don't have it.
So my thought process was, well, it's banned now. Why have it on my phone? How was I supposed to know it was going to come back the next day?
Yeah. No one.
How was I supposed to know? But I wasn't the only one that made that mistake, so I don't feel alone. So maybe yes, maybe it is a good thing that I don't have TikTok.
Yeah. So Lace, the trend since you're not on TikTok, so the trend is you're so funny in quotes. It's supposed to be like air quotes because a lot of these stories aren't funny. It's sarcasm, right? And it's just and there's some stories, and every clip would be a girl talking about their experience. The head coach one time told me that I need to lose 30 pounds. The coach told me that there's no way in hell that I'm ever going to see the dirt. So just and those are just there's some brutal stories out there. But then there was also some girls that are like, I had a great experience, and the coach gave me a hug whenever I felt down, right? So it, in my mind, it was probably 70-30, 70 not good,
Yeah.
30%. I think 30% were like, hey, but my experience was good.
I've seen cuz I've seen a few. I'll go on my friends' TikTok. They're like, "Did you see this?" I was like, "No, show me." So they'll show me. And then I've seen both too. Like I've seen the bad ones and then the good ones. Both are valid. Do I feel like it's a bit of a battle? Yes, which it shouldn't be because everyone has their own experience and everyone has their own feelings towards certain people, coaches, teammates, whatever. It shouldn't be as a battle. Do I think a lot of the good ones that I've seen have brought the idea of it is a privilege to play Division 1 softball. It's a privilege, so all this stuff. In a way, yes, and because the girls that are in D1 softball have worked their butts off to be here and have sacrificed a lot in their life to become a Division 1 softball player. And so I don't I don't know about the privilege part because of all the sacrifices, blood, sweat, and tears that have been put into being a Division 1 softball player. Like a lot of girls, there's like small D1s, there's big D1s, where there are people that have connections where sometimes you are handed a scholarship because of the connections that you do have. But there are also those girls that worked and worked and worked, emailed, went to camps and all that stuff, and missed homecoming, missed prom, missed sleepovers with friends just to live out their dream of being a Division 1 softball player, and they earned it, and they deserve a good experience because that's what they worked for. And then you hear the stories of the bad, like the bad ones you're saying, the bad trend, and it's really sad. So, yes, you can share your good experience, but you can't devalue those people's feelings because it did happen. So, that's my opinion.
Right. And it's hard too because some of the good and the bad are they're talking about the same school.
Same coach. Yeah, same coach, same team. Yeah.
So it's sometimes you look at the bad and you're like, well, this person over here had a great experience. What's your issue? And then some people might. We're not, like we said, we're not devaluing what they're saying. We're not saying it's not true, but there could be some exaggerations in some of those stories. We don't know, right? But it's their experience, so you have to put it on face value. It's like, wow, that's crappy. Like what you went through, no one should go through because and those coaches should be called out for what they did because you shouldn't, like you said, the amount of work you guys put in, and part of this podcast was going through your journey and all the work that you put through from being 5 years old until right now. You put in a lot of work. You sacrificed a lot of things in order to become a Division 1 athlete, right? And you didn't have a good experience last year. You can make the same TikTok about all your experiences last year in just 1 year.
I could make a 50
Yeah,
slide TikTok
yeah,
just over the course of my softball career
right,
about a multitude of things.
right,
I don't like that doesn't define me because like with the TikTok saying you're so funny. It's like when going into psychology, the more trauma you've been through, the more a lot of people tend to go to humor to cope with it. So that's why like you hear of people that are like adults now or possibly in high school who were potentially like bullied in middle school, and then their way of like trying to cope with it or some sort of traumatic thing happening, they use humor, and then people are like, "Oh, like you're so funny." I mean, they're funny because of the trauma that they've been through or the bad things that they've been through.
it's like a coping mechanism, right?
Yes, yes. So, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's like the thing behind the trend. Saying like, "Oh, you're so funny. How are you so funny?" Well, it's because of all the bad things I went through. But that's where I was going because I said it doesn't define me. I don't wanna take my bad experiences and let that be the reason I am who I am, if that makes sense. Like, I'm a hard worker because I'm a hard worker. I'm really into my academics because I really wanna succeed at academics. Are there gonna be certain influences? Yes, but I would to counter the bad TikToks. I'm not taking my experiences. I don't want that to shape me as a person.
Right.
Like I don't want to let that shape me as a person. Even though it did have an impact, there's the what you do afterwards that makes a difference.
Perfect. Right. So it's kind of this mindset we were talking about the last couple episodes, right? You can play the victim, right? And I didn't have a great experience in college because of X, Y, and Z, or because of this person, or because of that experience. And again, they've had. I was not a Division 1. I have no room to talk. You have the room to talk, right? You have the experience. You had a bad experience last year. You've had some bad experience in travel ball, but you didn't play the victim. You just worked harder, right? I'm not saying that again. I'm trying to be careful with my words.
Yeah.
The people that had bad experiences, you know, yes, they had trauma, but there are ways to deal with it, right? You seek help, or you talk to people. Some people transferred and it helped, right? There's a couple of our friends, a couple of your friends that you played with transferred out of their situation and went to a school that is now, and they did a positive one, they did a negative one, and then they did a positive one. Like, the school that I'm at now does this, this, and this is why I feel much better about who I am, right?
Mm,
So, but there are some of the trends that, you know they didn't transfer. They just had a really bad 4 years, which sucks. But
yeah,
like I said, they earned the right to be there and to be treated that way by a coach or an administrator or other teammates for whatever reason. We don't know the whole story, right? It's one side, but
yeah,
it sounds like a lot of those girls had bad experiences, which they shouldn't. That's not right.
yeah. And I mean, we talk about the transfer portal a lot, and, like, I feel like that's something that's good that comes out of it, and, I mean, it hurts to see that there's girls that feel stuck. Like, I couldn't imagine that feeling of feeling like there's nowhere else to go, and we could just revert back to, like, when I talk about mental health in sports, like, that feeling of you don't know what to do next, or you just don't you feel like you're just living the same day over and over again, which in Division 1 athletics, that's basically what it is, and I've talked about before, like, finding hobbies, like reading or the beach and hanging out with friends because you often do live the same day over and over and over again. It's the routine, which some people like, but then it does feel repetitive, and me personally, I hate the feeling of feeling stuck, like, stuck doing the same thing all the time, so just trying to look for different outlets and the transfer portal is an outlet, and so it's there.
Yeah. So again, if you're a junior or senior in high school
Hmm,
and you're seeing these trends,
yeah,
it might be difficult because some of these girls could be talking about the school that you want to go to, like your dream school, and they hear about these stories. So that could be these incoming.
it's damaging.
Yeah, I mean, they could be
It
like,
is damaging.
"Do I really want to go to the school now because of what this girl said on this trend?"
Yeah. It's being TikTok free for the last week and a half has been eye-opening. Like I'm kind of glad I don't see those. I'm glad. But obviously there's the junior seniors you're talking about that are seeing these things. Me personally, I never saw any of I mean, we had TikTok, but the trends that were happening during my junior and senior year, it was COVID, so a lot of the content was COVID focused. What'd I do during COVID?
Or dance,
All that stuff.
or a lot of dancing. There's a lot of
A
dancing.
lot of dancing, lots of dancing. So that was the content that I was getting, but now it's all of that stuff, and I couldn't imagine if I were, like, committed to a school and I'm seeing all these things about my head coach or the team and all I'm like, what is going on?" And now you're doubting your commitment to that school. Because I mean, we've talked about it before, the deal is 4 years, like, you wanna go in and play there for 4 years, and
Yeah, because
seeing I mean, you
going in like, "Oh, I hope I redshirt one year, or I hope I gray
Mhm.
shirt, and so I can play 6 years, not 4." It also kind of reminds me of um, like a Yelp review of a restaurant.
Yeah,
You have all these, 5 stars, but you always see, like, there's some ones,
the
and you always
service was
go to the one.
terrible.
Yeah, you always go to the ones. They're like, "What were these ones? What were they saying about this restaurant?" So it almost that the trend is almost like that. It's almost like a like a restaurant review. All right. All right, everybody. We had some technical difficulties, but we're back. Lacey's on her phone now.
Yep.
So yeah, good stuff, Lace. I was about to end it, so I want to end it just just like that. But you have a game in 11 days. It's a doubleheader against Idaho State, right? No, it's not a doubleheader.
We're at Sac State and UC Davis.
Yeah, so you're playing Idaho State, I think Friday and then Saturday, and then you have a doubleheader on Sunday. Awesome stuff. I don't think
And then I turned 22 on Tuesday.
that's right. And we have no idea what we're gonna do. Oh, because we're gonna be in Sacramento, right?
Well, yeah, actually. We gotta look at places over there.
Yeah. 22. And that's a great number because that was your dad's number in high school. It was your number your freshman and sophomore year. So that's a good number.
I like that number.
It's a good sign.
I don't like getting older though.
Well, why not?
I feel like I was just 18 yesterday.
I listened to your voicemail when I tried calling you back,
Yeah.
and you changed it. I didn't know you changed it. Remember, you had your voicemail. It sounded like you're 8 years old for like forever.
When I had my flip phone.
Yeah,
Yep.
in the voicemail. I think you recently changed it,
Yeah.
so you sound more grown up now.
There we go. Good.
Yeah, awesome stuff. All right, Lace, I love you.
Love you.
To everybody else on the other side, peace.
Bye.